Hi guys! A while back, whenever we finished our IVF on sometime in February, I think. There's Miyagi. That's Miyagi, my cat with cancer. He has to wear a diaper because he cannot hold his bladder anymore, so I think he's preparing me for another baby. So anyways, I know that whenever we did IVF, we told you guys that we sent all of our embryos to testing for pre-genetic screening, as it's called, so PGS. And what we did was we had 5, I think I told you guys, we had 5 that we sent off to the lab. So whenever your IVF team sends your sample to a lab, sorry for that noise next door, we have our neighbors doing construction. You hear that? Anyways, so they take your blastocyst that's in a petri dish and they take little cells, like a sample of the cells out, and they send the samples over to the lab, which in our case was Reprogenetics. And they sent those over there. They sent 5 samples, and the lab tested the samples to make sure that all the chromosomes were correct and that nothing else was going on. So I know sometimes people get a little bit mixed up on what PGS is and what PGD is. So PGS is just testing for chromosomes. It's just making sure everything is there. All the normal chromosomes are there. There's no added chromosomes, no deletion of chromosomes. And so they can test that that's technically a normal embryo. So PGD is they're actually looking for a very specific disease. Like say I had cystic fibrosis, or I had a bleeding disorder or something like that. They would be able to test me, find what the gene is, and then build a probe to then somehow test the embryos that we would have and see which ones would either be carriers or they were actually affected by it themselves. So we did not have to do PGD because we don't have any known things wrong. We're not carriers of anything that we know of. And so we didn't need to go that route. The reason why we went the route that we did was for PGS was we figured that we would just, utilize the extra money that we were going to spend on transferring these embryos. So say each time we wanted to transfer an embryo. So I believe it's $2,000 to transfer plus meds, which would probably be another $1,500. So you're looking at like $3,500, $4,000. And with that, if we had 5 and we did each of those 5 times, and then we're up to $20,000. So we just decided that we would just cut straight to the chase, and we would. And the PGS testing is not cheap, you guys. Our lab charges $3,000 just for them to take the sample and send it over to Reprogenetics, which Reprogenetics was $2,250, their fee. So we paid like $5,300 to have these things tested. But you know what? I'm so beyond glad that we did. Because, when my doctor looked at me, and whenever people look at me, I was talking to my mom, she's like, there's got to be nothing wrong with you guys, with your eggs. You're young. Like, there should be nothing wrong with you. No, you know what? Looking at us, you would think like, hey, like these guys like are probably pretty normal. They have had 2 kids that are normal, and that's good and great. But you know what? You don't know what's going on inside. You don't know what the cell division is. You don't know which chromosomes I'm giving, which chromosomes my husband's giving, if they're all getting there, if some are not taking. Like, we just don't know. So we sent 5 blastocysts into Reprogenetics, and I have the report with me right here, and I'm going to share with you guys because I always wondered what a PGS report would look like and what's on it. How would I be able to read this? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. So I'm just going to best as I can. Some information I'm not going to share with you guys just because we want to keep some of that private. I will share with you guys the important things. So, this is my report from Reprogenetics. It has my name on it. It has my physician. It has the date of the biopsy, which was March 5th of 2017. And the specimen was received on April 9th, so a few days later. and then they had a report date. I know I get this question a lot. People always ask, you know, how long did it take for you to do your PGS testing? Well, the specimen was received, it says right here, March 19th, 2017, and the report was March 11th. So that was pretty quick. They did that really quickly, and I believe on the 11th is when my doctor called me. So that's kind of what's on there. Oh, and the specimen type, so it will tell you if you had a 3-day embryo or if it was a blastocyst, and ours was a 5-day blastocyst, in which we sent 5 to. So on the results, it has your embryos labeled. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has them all labeled out. And then it goes through all these chromosomes, 22 chromosomes. And so it will tell you, okay, so on chromosome 1, we have 2, which is fine. So then we start going down the list, okay? So let's just start with number 1. Number 1 was completely normal, and so it says interpretation on the side. So it lists 1 through 22, which will show you what all that information is. Let me see if I can show you guys without showing you. And I'm not showing you guys certain information just because, like, my husband and I have decided, like, we're just not going to show anybody this information. And so I'll just show you guys this. So this is what it looks like. It has the cells, it has all of that, and it will tell you, you know, the embryo number right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you go across, lots of them have every single embryo. And you see a couple on here where it says these right here. So let me tell you about that. So the one that said that, so let's go through. Embryo 1 was completely normal. Embryo 2, completely normal. Embryo 3 had something wrong with chromosome 11. So it says MP1 on the chromosome. So I looked over to the interpretation, which is at the very end, and it says Mosaic partial monosomy 11q23.3/QTR. So I've done some researching on this because I really wanted to know, like, what is that? I've done some researching on this, and it says, okay, a mosaic embryo is one that is of normal cells and abnormal cells. So you can get a mosaic embryo, and the part of the biopsy that they took could have potentially been that was going to become the placenta. And so that, I guess, in some way gives it the abnormal cells, and so that could technically correct itself. But and then it says partial monosomy on the 11th chromosome. So somehow my husband or I, monosomy means that one of the parts was not there. It only got one copy, the chromosome. So it either got it from me or it got it from my husband. So, and I looked up partial monosomy 11q23.3, and they said something about Jacobsims Syndrome. And so Jacobsims Syndrome is mostly those babies can be born normal, I guess, but they have a lot of intellectual disabilities. They have a lot of physical disabilities. So a lot of this is pretty crippling to a human being. So it doesn't say on here abnormal, but it does say a mosaic partial monosomy 11q23.3. That one, somewhere on the 11th chromosome, either they didn't get a copy from me, or they didn't get a copy from my husband. So there's only one chromosome, not two. There should be two on every single chromosome. So then we're going to move down to number 4. Number 4 is also a mosaic monosomy 4. So again, the mosaic, is the normal and abnormal cells. The monosomy means they only either got one copy from me or my husband. We're not sure which one it is. And that one is on the 4th chromosome. So we're not sure, it just wasn't dividing well, and the chromosomes didn't, do what they were supposed to do on that end, even though they did grow into a 5-day blastocyst. So, you know, a lot of times people will say like, oh, if it makes it to a 5-day blastocyst, it has a really good chance of making a baby. That's true, but we also, out of 5 already, we have 2 that are monosomy. So in a given cycle, like had we just had these blastocysts, they probably would not have ended in a pregnancy. It most likely would have ended either in a miscarriage, a chemical pregnancy, or we would have had the baby and we would have had the baby that had intellectual issues, physical issues, and I do believe on one of these they said they have heart problems and diabetes. So that's just not good, you guys. Move on to our 5th embryo. Our 5th embryo is completely, absolutely normal. And it also shows, it just kind of shows everything. Again, I'll show you guys this. It just kind of has like all their chromosomes, and it has if they're normal and which chromosome wasn't normal. So that is the first page that they sent me. We have 3 normals out of 5 that we sent. And the abnormal cells, we just don't know what it is because, like, again, this is PGS testing. We're not doing PGD testing. And PGD testing would be able to say, like, it's Turner's, it's this, it's that, it's Turner syndrome, you have cystic fibrosis, anything like that. But with PGS, you're just kind of getting a big picture of it all. You're not really getting the details of it. I am beyond happy that we were able to do this. I'm grateful. Didn't think in a million years like we would have anything wrong with our eggs. Like, we're in our early 30s. Like, I wouldn't think that. You know, we're both pretty healthy. So I'm just kind of glad. I haven't gotten the grades on these embryos. I'm not sure what they are. It would definitely be interesting to figure out if our abnormal ones were higher graded than the normal ones. I would be interested to see, or if they were lower graded than the normal ones. And just kind of playing that, like, well, what if we didn't do testing? Which one would we have transferred? Obviously the higher grade one, but what if the higher grade one was the Mosaic ones? You don't know. And I hope that was helpful to somebody out there. You know, whenever I was kind of starting IVF, I couldn't, you know, find anything about PGS. I just heard a lot of people saying like, oh, I got my PGS results and they were normal, they weren't normal, and this is what we had and this is what we didn't have. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys in black and white, like what one looks like, what to expect, and kind of what you can do to, you know, do your own research once you get it. So I'm gonna finish with that. I hope you guys enjoyed your day. Today was a crazy day. It was the 3rd day of spring break and it was raining here. Of course it would rain on the 1st day or the 3rd day of spring break, right? So tomorrow I think we're gonna do a little Easter bunny action and maybe hang out with our friends for lunch, and we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing, 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 amazing rest of the week. Don't forget to subscribe, share us with your friends and family. Come along the journey. We invite you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I will see you guys next week. Have a great Easter, and be sure to do your Easter bunny shopping. This bunny has got to get hopping over to Walmart to get some bunny stuff for my kids. Have a good week, you guys. See you next Tuesday. Bye.